The entertainment industry has always been unforgiving when it comes to public perception. One wrong move, one moment of vulnerability captured on camera, and decades of carefully crafted image can crumble overnight. What we're witnessing in modern celebrity culture is perhaps the most dramatic example of how quickly beloved figures can fall from grace, and more importantly, how desperate attempts at redemption often accelerate the very decline they're meant to prevent. The phenomenon we're examining isn't just about one person's career trajectory, it's about the fundamental shift in how audiences relate to their heroes. Where once celebrities could maintain careful distance between their public personas and private lives, social media has eliminated that buffer zone. Every action, every statement, every relationship becomes fodder for public consumption and judgment. The result is a toxic cycle where authenticity is demanded, but any display of human frailty is mercilessly punished. To understand the current crisis, we need to examine how celebrity images were traditionally constructed. The entertainment machine of the 1990s and early 2000s operated on a simple principle: create flawless public personas that audiences could admire without reservation. This meant carefully curated interviews, strategic public appearances, and most importantly, personal lives that appeared to embody societal ideals of success and happiness. The strategy worked brilliantly for decades. Audiences craved aspirational figures who seemed to have it all: talent, charisma, perfect families, and moral clarity. These celebrities became more than entertainers. They became symbols of what life could be if everything went right. Their success wasn't just professional. It was existential proof that dreams could come true and stay true. This manufactured perfection required incredible discipline and sacrifice. Every public statement had to be measured, every relationship scrutinized for its impact on brand image, every creative choice filtered through the lens of maintaining that spotless reputation. The pressure was immense, but the rewards: commercial success, universal admiration, cultural influence seemed to justify the constraints. The music industry particularly rewarded this approach. Clean-cut artists who could appeal to both children and adults, who never stirred controversy or challenged social norms too aggressively, found themselves with massive crossover success. They became household names not just for their talent but for their reliability as safe entertainment choices for families. However, no image can remain perfect indefinitely when subjected to constant public scrutiny. The first signs of trouble often emerge not from professional failures but from personal relationships that don't conform to the projected ideal. When celebrity marriage is supposedly the ultimate proof of having it all begins showing signs of strain, the entire carefully constructed narrative starts to unravel. The modern media ecosystem amplifies every crack exponentially. What might once have been handled quietly through publicists and strategic silence now becomes extended public drama played out across multiple platforms. Social media turns every cryptic post into evidence, every public appearance into a performance of either unity or dysfunction. The situation becomes particularly complex when both partners in a celebrity relationship are public figures with their own careers and images to protect. The intersection of personal authenticity and professional necessity creates impossible choices. Do you maintain the facade at the cost of personal happiness? Do you reveal the truth and risk destroying everything you've built? Or do you try to find some middle ground that satisfies no one? Perhaps no technological development has been more damaging to traditional celebrity management than the rise of social media platforms. These tools promise direct connection with fans, cutting out media intermediaries and allowing authentic communication. Instead, they've become elaborate performance spaces where every post is analyzed for hidden meaning and every silence interpreted as suspicious. The expectation of constant content creation forces celebrities into a relentless cycle of self-exposure. They must feed the algorithm with regular updates while somehow maintaining the mystique that once made them compelling. It's an impossible balance, and the result is often awkward, desperate content that feels more like a cry for help than genuine connection. Younger audiences raised on social media have different expectations for celebrity behavior. They demand transparency and authenticity while simultaneously punishing any vulnerability or mistakes. They want their heroes to be relatable but not flawed, honest but not messy, real but not too real. When a celebrity's image begins deteriorating, the natural instinct is to fight back with more content, more appearances, more attempts to recapture the magic that once made them beloved. This rarely works and often makes the situation worse. Desperate attempts at relevance highlight the very desperation audiences can sense and reject. The collaboration strategy represents one of the most obvious signs of this desperation. When established celebrities start partnering with internet personalities and influencers, it often feels like a transparent attempt to access younger demographics rather than organic creative collaboration. The mismatch in communication styles and cultural references makes these partnerships feel awkward and calculated. Music releases during these crisis periods often carry the weight of too much expectation. They become statements about the artist's relevance rather than simple expressions of creativity. Every song is analyzed not for its artistic merit, but for what it reveals about the creator's state of mind or their attempt to manipulate public opinion. Today's audiences claim to value authenticity above all else, but they punish celebrities who reveal genuine struggles or make real mistakes. This creates a paradox where the most authentic response, admitting flaws, showing vulnerability, acknowledging personal growth, is exactly what accelerates public rejection. The situation becomes even more complex when family dynamics enter the public sphere. Audiences feel entitled to judge not just professional choices, but personal relationships, parenting decisions, and private conflicts. The pressure to maintain perfect family images while dealing with very human problems creates unbearable stress that often manifests in public outbursts or poor decision-making. Celebrity children face particular scrutiny, expected to be both normal kids and extensions of their parents' brands. When they develop their own careers, every move is interpreted through the lens of nepotism or family dysfunction. The pressure on these families to maintain unity while allowing individual growth often proves impossible to sustain. The treatment of male and female celebrities during image crises reveals deep societal biases about power, vulnerability, and relationships. Male celebrities facing personal struggles often receive either mockery for showing weakness or criticism for not showing enough emotion. They're expected to be both strong leaders and sensitive partners, confident performers and humble human beings. Female celebrities in these situations face different but equally impossible standards. They're criticized for being too controlling or too passive, too independent or too dependent, too emotional or too cold. When celebrity couples face public challenges, the woman often bears disproportionate blame regardless of the actual circumstances. The intersection of race, gender, and celebrity adds additional layers of complexity. Certain behaviors that might be forgiven or overlooked in some celebrities become career-ending scandals for others. The standards aren't applied equally, and the margin for error varies dramatically based on factors that have nothing to do with talent or character. There comes a moment in many celebrity downfall narratives where the damage becomes irreversible. This isn't necessarily related to the severity of the original incident, but rather to the handling of the aftermath. Audiences can forgive mistakes, but they rarely forgive obvious manipulation or continued deception. The most damaging moments often aren't the scandals themselves, but the desperate attempts to fix them. Overly rehearsed apologies, transparent pretense, or the candid deceptions and campaigns and forced redemption arcs feel insulting to audiences who can see through the performance. The harder celebrities try to reclaim their former status, the more they highlight how far they've fallen. Social media algorithms amplify negative content, creating feedback loops where criticism generates more criticism. The platform's business model depends on engagement, and outrage drives engagement more effectively than admiration. This means that celebrity controversies can develop their own momentum, growing far beyond their actual significance. Despite the grim picture painted by most celebrity downfall stories, there are alternative approaches that sometimes work. The key is often stepping back from the desperate attempt to reclaim former glory and instead focusing on genuine artistic expression or personal growth. Some celebrities have found success by dramatically scaling back their public presence, focusing on smaller, more authentic projects that don't carry the weight of career rehabilitation. Others have pivoted entirely, using their platform to advocate for causes they genuinely care about rather than trying to maintain entertainment relevance. The most successful recoveries often involve genuine accountability paired with a long period of quiet work. This might mean years away from major releases or appearances, focusing instead on behind-the-scenes contributions or personal development. The key is demonstrating real change rather than performing it. These celebrity downfall narratives reflect broader cultural anxieties about authenticity, success, and human frailty. They serve as modern morality tales, allowing audiences to process their own fears about failure and judgment through the experiences of public figures. The intensity of public reaction often has little to do with the celebrities themselves and everything to do with what they represent. The entertainment industry's response to these crises reveals its own limitations and biases. Studios and record labels often abandon artists at the first sign of controversy, regardless of their actual talent or the circumstances involved. This creates a system where image matters more than artistry, and perception trumps reality. The rise of cancel culture and social media judgment has created an environment where redemption becomes increasingly difficult. The permanent nature of internet content means that past mistakes never truly fade, and the speed of news cycles means that nuanced understanding rarely develops. Celebrities become symbols rather than human beings, and their struggles become entertainment rather than opportunities for empathy. The path forward requires both individual accountability from celebrities and cultural growth from audiences. We need to develop more sophisticated ways of discussing public figures that acknowledge both their humanity and their influence. The current system serves no one well, not the celebrities who live in constant fear of destruction, not the audiences who are denied genuine connection with their heroes, and not society as a whole, which loses the positive influence that healthy celebrity culture can provide. The story we've examined isn't unique. It's a pattern that will repeat until we find better ways to balance public accountability with human compassion, professional standards with personal growth, and entertainment with authentic connection. The stakes are higher than just individual careers. They're about the kind of culture we want to create and sustain.